Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be looking at Marvel's What If. We're up to episode 3 now. I gotta say, I'm loving this show so far. The first 2 episodes are great. This one is about what if the Avengers all died, pretty much. Pretty crazy concept. Going into it, I wasn't really expecting much. Just from what the trailers showed and the clips we got, it looked to be like a Black Widow, Nick Fury centered episode with Loki mixed in. I'm like, okay, maybe Loki's the one killing all them. I was completely wrong about the episode. It was great. I loved it. Let's just break it down. We're going to run through the whole thing, talk about it, and let's get right into it. The episode starts out like Iron Man 2. We see Iron Man sitting in the donut, and Nick Fury comes to talk with him. He's still dealing with the effects of his heart reactor, as we see in his neck. So Widow decides to give him an antidote, but this antidote seemingly backfires and kills him. So now it looks like Black Widow has just killed Iron Man. So she's put under arrest, but Nick Fury doesn't believe that she is the one who actually killed him. So Nick Fury gives her the device that she used to put the antidote in Iron Man and pretty much tells her to go and investigate this on your own because he's got to go deal with some other things. So Black Widow, as she gets arrested, she easily breaks out and she goes off to go continue to investigate what exactly happened to Iron Man. While this is all happening, we now have hit the events of Thor 1, and Coulson finds the hammer, and we cut to Thor trying to break into the facility to try and get his hammer back. So this is pretty much just like the events of Thor 1, but before Thor can even have a chance to touch the hammer, Hawkeye accidentally releases his arrow and kills Thor. Hawkeye obviously denies these claims, saying that he never misses, he never makes mistakes. He gets arrested anyway, and he gets locked away. While Fury tries to go to talk to him, he discovers that Clint is already somehow dead, even though he's been sealed in this entire time and nobody has come in to check in on him. We now cut to Black Widow, who's paying a visit to Betty Ross, who's the daughter of Thaddeus Ross. And we haven't seen Betty Ross since the first Incredible Hulk movie, so I was pretty excited to see her back. It was kind of cool. Black Widow is there talking to her because she's an expert in the antidote that was given. She discovers that it was actually some sort of bullet that was shot out of it, and it wasn't the antidote itself, but some sort of ballistic weaponry issue. She says that she's not like an expert in ballistic, and she needs to go to someone else. Before Black Widow can even respond, she gets a call from Nick Fury, and it's Nick Fury telling her that Clint Barton, Hawkeye, is now dead, and someone is coming after the Avengers Initiative before it can even start. This makes Black Widow really angry, and she asks Fury who she needs to kill. Fury says the only people that are on the Avengers Initiative left was the Hulk and Black Widow herself. Widow realizes she's really close to Hulk and he's actually in the same room. So she goes to the nearest closet and it's Mark Ruffalo's Hulk coming out. Pretty funny to see Mark Ruffalo's face in this environment since we're so used to seeing Edward Norton's character. But it was cool and it's nice in this universe we could just put in our head that, Mark Ruffalo was starring in the Incredible Hulk movie or whatever, so the rest of this episode or these scenes play out like the Incredible Hulk movie. Thaddeus and his army are coming for the Hulk. Plays out pretty much just like the movie Incredible Hulk, except Black Widow's around. But this time, all of a sudden, while Hulk's supposed to be fighting them, he just blows up like a balloon and explodes in a cloud of green smoke, killing him. While this is all going on, Loki has come down from Asgard to Earth to seek revenge on the planet for killing his brother. Fury kind of smooth talks his way out of it, explaining to Loki that they're on the same side and chasing the same enemy. Loki agrees to give Fury time to solve this problem. So while this happened after the events of the Incredible Hulk, Black Widow goes back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. office to go do some more research on the Avengers Initiative file. Here is where she comes across something and decides to call Nick Fury about it. But before Fury can answer, she's attacked by some invisible being. This is where I got really confused because I was interested, but she just starts to scream that it's all about hope. So she's screaming about hope, which in my head I wasn't even connecting dots yet. So I just thought she meant the word hope. So I was like, how does hope play into all this? And she's getting beaten up by this invisible being. So I'm like, okay, is this Ghost, the villain from Ant-Man and the Wasp? We can't see her. Is this some sort of new villain that's invisible fighting Black Widow? And how does hope play into all this? So while I'm still trying to figure that all out, we cut to Fury, who's listening in on the phone call from Widow, and Widow screaming about hope. Coulson is also there, and he's trying to explain to Fury that even though all the Avengers are dead, there's still one Avenger left, and it's you. Fury kind of just tells him that not all the Avengers are dead, and he goes to his car, and he gets the pager, which is supposed to connect him to Captain Marvel, who we first see in the Infinity War after credit scene. He pretty much says this pager is their last hope, and him saying this word hope kind of puts everything together for him. He starts connecting all the dots, and while I still had no idea what the heck was going on, I was like, okay, Fury, you're somehow smart to figure this all out, but I am still lost. But he just goes to visit Loki, and after he visits Loki, we ultimately visit the grave of Hope Van Dyne, who we know as the Wasp. So it seems like in this universe, she was already recruited as a SHIELD agent, and she had died while on duty, just like her mother before him. Before I can even start process this and start thinking of stuff, a shadow comes out from behind Nick Fury, revealing himself to be none other than Hank Pym himself, but it's the yellow jacket version of him. This is pulled straight from the comics, as Hank Pym actually adopts the identity of Yellow Jacket when a bunch of spilled chemicals fall on him that give him short-term memory loss and multiple personalities. One of these identities that he makes up is called Yellow Jacket, a version of him who he thought killed Hank Pym. He's still like a good guy in my eyes when I read these comics about him, but he's just like a total asshole. Just comes off as cocky and dickish, and he just seemed like still a good guy, but just an asshole. But in this episode, he's full on evil as it's revealed that he is the one who's been killing all the Avengers. We cut back to scenes as he was the one who let Hawkeye's arrow go off. He went into the room as he shrunk down into Hawkeye's brain and killed him. He went into Hulk's body and threw something at his heart, puffing him up and killing him. So he's been killing everyone, Iron Man, Black Widow, and he's doing all this because he blames Fury for the death of Hope, and he wanted to destroy all of Fury's life's work as revenge. So after this, Fury and Hank Pym, they just start to fight, and Fury starts to use all these crazy powers like teleportation, and he makes copies of himself. I'm still dumb, maybe because I'm watching this at 3 in the morning and I'm shot. But I was like, how is Fury using all this? Like, he must have some sort of device, like making himself being copied and all this stuff. I was like, yo, Fury's a badass right now, but I have no idea how he's doing this because I know he doesn't have his powers. But once Fury defeats Hank Pym, it's revealed that it's not our Nick Fury, but it's actually Loki, the shapeshifter himself. So they pretty much save the day by working together to stop Loki. But Loki kind of like is still evil, so he says that he might stick around longer, which he's just able to like go ahead with this plan of ruling the whole world now that all the Avengers are dead. So he kind of like takes over the whole world as the leader. It's like this whole United Nations thing. After this, we cut to the coffins of our dead Avengers. Fury says his whole speech, how it's pretty much the Avengers is more of an idea, and as long as there are people willing to fight, there will always be the Avengers. This cuts to him finding Captain America with the events of the first Avengers. So while we see the same scene of him finding the shield in ice, someone pops up behind him. It's none other than Captain Marvel. She shows up and she asks him where the fight is, and the episode ends. So I have to say that I really enjoyed this episode. It's much better than I expected. It starts out kind of slow, but it just kept getting better and better for me. I love the whole mystery of trying to figure out who the hell could be taking down all the Avengers like this. I love seeing all the cool scenes from Phase 1, all these returning characters like Betty Ross. I really appreciated that. And just the whole reveal of Hank Pym as the Yellow Jacket being the one behind all this shocked me. And I just love to see that we get to see this interpretation of this character in the What If series. So, and that Captain Marvel ending also took me by surprise. That was just an exclamation point on just another great episode of What If. So, I'm going to give this episode a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was the best one yet. I know some people may like the T'Challa one a little bit more. But like I said, it took me by surprise. This one wasn't expecting to be that good. Loved that whole mystery, trying to figure out on my own. So I thought it was really cool. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you liked it. If you didn't like it, where would you rank it with the others? And please like this video. Please subscribe. And see you guys next video.